Welcome to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Mike.
My name is Ray.
Hey, everybody. We're going to do something a little different here. So I actually got an invite code to take a part in the closed Anthem beta. So I've recorded some footage that you're probably going to see here in the background as we talk. But I'm going to kind of just give some general impressions of my time with the beta. Probably played about 2-3 hours or so, and give Mike and Ray a kind of opportunity to kind of ask questions that they have for me as we get talking about it. So,
gentlemen, hit the play button on the recording in 3, 2, 1, play.
Bang.
Yeah, look at those hands. Yeah,
all
this
right.
is.
I don't like them.
So the judgment starts.
The first thing I'll say is this game is very much Frostbite. Like, if you don't like the Frostbite engine, buckle up.
If you have a problem with weird floaty particles on your menu, boy, are you playing the wrong game.
Yeah, and as you're getting ready to see, one of the first things you'll notice is in the hub world.
Mm-hmm.
This is nitpicky, but dear God, is the movement atrociously and unforgivably slow.
No, I'm gonna back up for that. Oh, first of all, Destiny call out. There's a whole codex right there, Mike. I'm just pointing it out. That's how you do it. You put the
lore's in the game.
The lore is in the game. Okay.
The lore's in the game now.
This is as fast.
This is awful. This is not a nitpick. This is miserable looking.
And I'm during this time I am smashing every single the shift, control, alt, space, everything I can think of to get me to run. And just so you're aware, when you get in the game and you're actually in your javelin, you can sprint. So it is a function that exists in the game. But
I guess real quick general stuff. This is from BioWare by EA. This game is kind of pitched as a you love it.
This might be BioWare's Hail Mary, according to some sources.
yeah, and I will say in certain, like in this hub world, you know, you definitely get that BioWare feel of like this is a studio that is used to making long RPGs, you know, and they've definitely got those elements in it, but like when you're kind of billing and showing off this game as a really fast-paced sci-fi flying action game, definitely some dissonance between the way that the hub world is and the way the game is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a purposeful choice to try and get you as the player to feel that difference, or if just when they're kind of creating their story-driven space that they kind of revert back to their old ways. But it definitely
maybe it's
a very clear break, and it's very
kind of like jarring.
Yeah, it's jarring to feel like this world versus when you actually get out and you're in your javelin and you're in that third person mode and you're starting to jump and fly around and shoot enemies. It's just it's different. Now I will say here, getting into the javelin,
this looks cool.
It
looks
has
really
not
cool.
worn on me yet. It's pretty awesome the way you just kind of like climb
How do you
in.
fit in that? You barely had the hip, but never mind.
I guess it's just literally skin tight.
Gotta get into your little boy hips and their little
Your little boy
there.
hips.
a little cozy in there.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
menu. Oh my God. I apologize to the viewers at home because this is not the most compelling visual content, and maybe I could have done a little more reading, but trying to figure out how to use this menu and launch the fucking mission, you're gonna see how long it took me. And I like to think I'm a pretty competent video game player. I've been doing it a long time. I should know how to launch a mission. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh no. Yeah, you hit the button and you hit mission and
mission. And I keep hitting F for quick play.
Enter. Oh boy, this is kind of. This kind of remind generally. I saw a lot of feedback from like Reddit threads that some of the keyboard and mouse stuff. Were you playing with the controller or keyboard?
Keyboard and mouse.
I guess. I saw that just generally a lot of people had some weird things with the keyboard and mouse controller, and several of the developers were fairly active on the Reddit, actually like saying that okay, that these are some changes that we had made in the gold version, like the one being printed on discs, but did not make it in time for the demo build. So they seem to be aware of some of the navigation challenges as you're seeing here.
I would certainly hope so. Because
we still have not gotten into the mission, by the way.
No.
Whoa.
Right now,
something's about to happen.
So what I realized later is basically right now I am sitting here and just reselecting and deselecting the mission. So I'm basically saying I want to go and play the mission on this part of the map, or I just want to go and do some free play on the part of the map, and I did not realize it at the time.
I mean,
so as you can see, I'm still trying to figure it out.
I can't help you here. Like I don't. Oof. Like I'm trying to like dissect this myself, but I just don't know.
When you realize how they so watch now. You have to go back to this menu.
Yeah.
And then you press enter once you've selected on the
what?
What part of the mission.
No.
Then you have to hit back and hit enter.
Oh no! Oof, that's harsh.
And just so you know, this isn't the mission I was trying to select because I had
this isn't even the mission.
So I went to the area, but I wasn't actually doing the story mission because I unselected it without knowing it.
Well,
so now I will say it. So that is pretty interesting. And I have some other video where I actually play the mission you're supposed to in this area, so you can kind of use that map to select areas outside of the hub where you want to explore. So you can just free play, kind of instance in with people who are also just kind of traversing these areas. Go through.
And there's like public events and stuff, right? That
yeah.
Too.
And I didn't bump into any public events, but I did just kind of like explore the area, find some resources.
Look at that movement.
Find some stuff. So,
as someone that's a fan of Mecha, this looks hot.
Event.
Felix, we're watching Mecha.
So, now that we're seeing some running around, Josh, how was the running around?
So definitely compared to walking around in the hub world, a lot better. I will say, given the way the javelin controls, especially the flying aspect, which does take me a little while to figure out, partially because there's no tutorial in the demo, so you kind of just have to do it by feel.
Yeah.
It felt a little slow at first. I kind of felt like, especially when I was shooting, I was a very, very kind of like walking through molasses, very plodding pace. Once I eventually started to figure out a little bit more with the dashing, the boosting, using the jets to fly, it definitely felt a lot more fluid, the motion. But it kind of has a little...
Yeah, it looks like you have kind of like a weird like little momentum when you're like moving around on the ground.
A little
like
bit.
Like directional.
Jeez, this looks amazing.
Yeah, I will say this is
very
me playing
pretty
on a 1060, so...
Say what you will about Frostbite. Frostbite doesn't make bad-looking games. It's almost incapable of doing so.
They do have some... This game has gorgeous environments. Really, the javelins are all pretty cool looking. Some interesting level design. Enemies, so from what I've seen so far. Especially when you're fighting like factions and you're fighting enemy javelins. The scaling seems a little off. The enemy javelin always kind of seems smaller than what it should be based on the way your javelin looks. But here I'm starting to kind of figure out the flying.
This looks gorgeous.
The flying feels awesome.
Yeah.
And at some point you're gonna.
Did that create a shockwave when you landed?
A little bit, and if you hit V, you do have a. This particular javelin has kind of like a shock hammer melee kind of thing. So if you do it while you're in the air, he comes down and hits the ground with it.
Nice. That's nice.
I will also find out here soon that when you're flying, if you aim down sights while you're flying, you'll kind of do like a little hover in the air and be able to shoot. That feels rad as hell. This is something that annoys me, and if you watch our mission video, there's a lot of instancing in the game world mid-mission. So like going between
I was gonna
different
say
areas
that
in the
seems
map,
kind
you hit loading times. And the loading times on this game are atrocious. Now,
of-
I'm not running the most beefy rig in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but I have a 6700K. That's a
Yeah,
pretty
seriously.
good processor. I have a lot of processing power. 1060.
What's your
Say what you will
GPU?
about that. It's a 1060, so it's not the best, but still, like, it's the last generation. So, like, it's no slouch.
Yeah, it's the game doesn't look bad at all.
No, and I think I have this game on my SSD too, so
Slam into that stalactite.
it's just the load times are forever.
Oh, they
I
have
wonder if those are gonna
responding
be, like, on
restricted. So that's very
console.
Destiny-like. This entire environment
Yeah,
looks very
so-
Destiny-like.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh my
and-
god. Yeah, it does. Wow.
Like,
And the way that it has the whole, like, in certain areas you can't respawn, you have to get picked up by one of your friends, which I don't know if we'll see in this video. I can't remember. I definitely in the other video got downed a couple times. But you get down, somebody has to come by and kind of revive you, very Destiny-esque, in these respawning restricted areas.
where's your health bar?
Now I never. So up at the top left, you have your shield and your armor. The shield is the blue, the armor is the green.
Okay.
You'll see that up there.
I guess it's because the very beginning, but you haven't been, like, losing much of any of it. But, again, this is probably just because it's, like, the very beginning.
It's the very beginning, and again, there's not really a tutorial, so this is some of my first gameplay, so I'm really just kind of testing it out and seeing what happens. I don't even think at this point I had figured out how to melee yet.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't looking at the freaking V.
I saw
right
you
there
melee.
on
I
the
saw you
screen.
melee once earlier. There you go.
There it is. Starting to figure it out.
Oh wow, that frozen thing looks really annoying. If
It's
you-
annoying.
Wow.
I love how the effect stays after you're like unfrozen still.
Because you
It's
have
like,
to you have to do one more, like, get the ice off.
Ugh.
Now I will say, like, being able here I am
Oh,
doing
that
a
is
little bit
so
of a-
cool looking.
Yeah. The being able to
What?
be in a position, realize you're kind of in trouble, and just like fly out of there, reposition, get a different vantage point. I will say that definitely makes what could be very dull combat a lot more dynamic. I think if you were doing this shooting without that mobility, it would be incredibly boring.
So-
It's just any other shooter, but that verticality you get, that movement with those jump jets, with that flying, definitely opens up your positioning, your spacing, and the way you approach fights a little better.
yeah.
I got a question.
Question,
Why
so,
wouldn't you? Wait, Mike, you go first. I'll ask mine next.
Just I don't know. I don't know if you'll know the answers. So with the flying, is there like any? Is it just like kind of like a raw? Like you can't do like a strafing run or anything like it, right? Is it just like kind of mostly like a positioning tool in the combat?
In the sense that you can, like, so if you're flying and then you aim down sights and you kind of do the hover, you can sort of do the strafing kind of thing, but you cannot like be flying full speed and fight at the same time.
I see.
So once you
okay.
start to engage, you're either gonna hit the ground or you're gonna kind of float around.
Either
a
like
little
in
bit.
full combat, like hover mode, or like you're
Yeah.
in fly mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
So here's
Now
my
you'll-
question. Why wouldn't you just constantly hover around and shoot? Like, what is the negative to that?
Your jump jets will overheat.
Okay.
So, and that's part of your flying and your positioning, is you do kind of have to manage your heat of your thrusters a bit.
Do you have a heat sensor
No,
somewhere I'm not seeing?
Yeah, so once you are actually flying, there's a little bar, like a half circle bar that kind of happens under the reticle that pops up. If you'll say there's like a little blue bar next to
I
some
see
red.
it.
Yeah,
I
it's like
see
those
it.
two little red hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now,
I'm seeing it now.
If you are falling while you're flying, if you're going slower, like I didn't realize here you can actually
Josh,
control
running
how
low on
quick you're
storage.
going. Huh?
You're running low on storage.
Huh.
Yes. I got that message.
Just delete Warframe. You don't need it now.
Stop. We'll get to that. This fight was really annoying. This dude was super strong and was not really well, not this guy. But
Guy looks like a lot of. Oh
And
no!
here-
Ooh. Critical failure cannot be repaired.
Yep. Now, and this is a little nitpicky bug. You'll see down here it says respawning in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, respawning, but I'm in a respawn restricted zone. Just one of those little like attention to detail things I kind of noticed. I was like, somebody probably should have noticed that. But yeah, somebody came by, repaired me, power restored. It looks like you come back with full health but no shields, maybe.
So is it a respawn, or are they just helping you up? I don't know the difference.
So I think in that, like when you're in the respawn restricted, they're helping you up. I never actually died during a non-respawn section, so I don't know if you do respawn in those areas. I'm assuming because they talk about it, you do. But I just didn't happen to die in one of those areas.
All right, so
Those guys just take a lot of damage.
here's my thoughts on
Yeah,
this so far. Now that we're like 15 minutes in, I don't know how this game went from like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous and amazing looking, to like, man, I'm getting kind of bored looking at this.
Yeah, this fight definitely overstayed its welcome. Just because there were like 2 or 3 of them, and in its defense, it may be different if you've got a bunch of people, because I know that in the game there are only 2 different javelins. Everybody starts with one. If you play long enough, you got a different one. If later in the game, because you start around level 10 where you would be kind of in the game.
That's a cool
So I don't know
shield.
if like with different abilities, different weapons, a fight like this might be a little less tedious. But man, I definitely felt like this fight overstayed its welcome, just because like I had a rocket, I had a grenade, my gun did basically nothing. So it's like, hey, shoot your rocket, shoot your grenade, let it cool down, run away from the fire.
Yeah, some people were talking about like you can't switch your weapons once you've entered like combat state or you start the mission. So like the weapons you start the mission equipped with are the weapons you're stuck with.
Like it kind of, I guess, kind of watching the combat, because like I'm kind of used to like Destiny, where if like you need to do more damage, you switch to like a special or a heavy weapon.
Yeah.
But like you definitely, it seems like you have a lot. Your ability, like there's much more of a focus on like the abilities, because those seem to recharge at like Diablo level rates.
Yeah, the
because in
cooldowns
Diablo,
are,
that's like that's what your main
10,
thing
15
is
seconds.
just like waiting for it's just like you like getting your like ability loop set, and it kind of looks like that's what is going on here, just because like I'm watching your missiles, and those compared to like a Destiny grenade or a Destiny melee, those recharge a lot faster. So
Oh,
it seems
wow,
like that's kind of like what you should be. That kind of seems like what should be done to like.
And that's exactly
the
what
main-
I'm doing, because if you'll see,
Yeah.
like my gun does nothing.
Yeah, that feels that doesn't look very fun. Just like
this fight is still going.
Yeah. It was like, it was rough. And I was having like, it was one of those, I was feeling like, okay, this is all right. I can see where this is going. And then we got to this fight, and I'm like, oh my god,
Oh,
please just let
no.
it end. I'm tired of dodging these fireballs that I can't dodge.
Yeah.
I only have 2 abilities that work. Like,
This has a lot of potential.
yeah, and that's like, I was kind of talking to the Anthem ad came on while we were watching TV today, and I kind of was talking to her. It's like, hey, this is the game I got to play and talk about, and I was like, I have really mixed. I'm confused about it, I have mixed feelings. Like, there are parts of it I really like, and then there are parts of it that I'm just like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, I mean, I have not played this game. I have just watched a decent amount of gameplay. It kind of, I get like I need to get my own hands on it, but it kind of seems like they came up with the pitch of Destiny, but Iron Man, and it kind of, and we're like, okay, now turn that into a game somehow, and
Turn that into a game.
with the technology that we have, and a combat system from that is like proto Mass Effect.
Well,
but like, how did I guess I was trying to think of some other questions. So yeah, Josh, you said you've played quite a bit of Warframe in the past. Did this feel? I get, because honestly, watching it, it looked a lot more like.
Yeah, and so you
had
mentioned this earlier today while we were kind of talking in our chat, getting ready for today's little pod, and you mentioned that like people in the subreddit were saying it, Warframe is a more apt comparison, and honestly, like that clicked with me, and I was like, man, this really does feel a lot more in the Warframe, just the way the environments are, the way the shooting and the mechanics look, the kind of the third person over the shoulder, the heightened movement beyond just kind of like the Destiny, you kind of jump a few different
sprint
ways.
Jump, yeah.
And honestly, I think I almost still like Warframe more.
Oof.
Warframe has its problems being incomprehensible without some sort of Sherpa to guide you through, and it's only getting worse. And the environments aren't as nice, and the movement does feel a little more weightless in Warframe. You do a lot of different jumpy, flippy whatevers, and it doesn't seem like it actually has any weight to it.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, I think the shooting still feels a little better in Warframe. Maybe that's also because I only got to use one gun. So it's very. If you don't know too, there is going to be another open beta February 4th through the 3rd, I think. So in a weekend or so, and I'm very interested to put my hands on it again, to see if they've made any changes or if they kind of unlock a different part of the game, because I still quite haven't landed on how I feel 100%. Because again, there are parts of it I really like. I think the game is gorgeous. The little bits of the story I got based on some of the environmental storytelling and some of the stuff I saw in that hub world, I thought were pretty interesting. I know I want to learn more about that world. I want to see what different combat, different weapons, different abilities feel like. But then there's just that little thing in the back of my mind that's like, they're missing something. Something's not there that is making it all come together. If that makes sense. It all kind of feels.
It's missing that spark.
Yeah, there are these individual elements, but there's not one thing that puts them all together. And it's kind of like my thing with Destiny is also a really awesome game, but a really flawed game. But there's something there that keeps me there, coming back despite the flaws, because there's that thing there that just
I definitely agree, because like there are some things about Destiny that I think could certainly be better, and more and organized and spelled out, but like. Even like in some like the dark days of Destiny 2, if you will, like when it was just kind of the Curse of Osiris, which had some decent content, but then it's just kind of it. Like, just like the core like gameplay it's a testament to just how well designed like just the base gunplay is. In that, like I kept playing it. Despite there not being a really like great meta reasons to keep playing the game, if that meant like I wasn't getting any more powerful, I wasn't really chasing any like exotic quests or anything because I had done them all, but I just kept playing it just because the core loop and it. I guess that's kind of another one thing I wanted to like kind of related to some Anthem stuff is like because this game in general is kind of coming out in a crowded field of like. Looter light RPG game, and I wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on like because it's coming into a field that is like I said, it's crowded. Like Destiny, in my opinion, is the best it's ever been. If you got games like The Division 2, and Ubisoft has really gotten good at very experienced at like having a good live game going.
Mm-hmm.
With I mean, I haven't played it in forever, but I can't even remember the game now. The Pirates and not Pirates and Vikings.
Thieves?
That's the
Sea
Steam.
of Thieves.
Not Sea of Thieves.
Atlas?
Shoot. What's it? It's there's like the samurai and the Vikings and the knights.
Oh, For Honor.
Yeah, For Honor.
For Honor, yeah. So they've done a lot of stuff for Honor. Like I kind of initially I liked that game, but like kind of bounced off. But they've done a lot of stuff to keep people around there. Obviously, like Rainbow Six Siege speaks for itself. They really so they're pretty savvy at that. I mean, Warframe is still it has been chugging along. So I am encouraged by seeing just how vocal the devs were on the Anthem subreddits and game subreddits in general, with like in response to feedback and criticism from the first weekend. Like honestly, seeing people be vocal like that gives me a lot of promise that even though Anthem is good, this is going to be vanilla Anthem. Like that's kind of what we have to remember. What we're starting with is like Destiny 2 has been out since fall of 2017. And it's going to be weird for, like, it's just different for a game to just be completely vanilla, I think. Like, I mean, I think there are lessons. I guess I kind of want to hear you guys' thoughts about that. Like, how do you think Anthem will fare on that
So I want
angle of it?
New type of game that Anthem looks like it's filling a niche I didn't know existed. Because isn't that like an issue? Isn't that like an issue with most other looter shooters? You have to justify the fact that the enemies have up to 1,000 health, and you have to burn out like 5 magazines of rifle rounds per squad to actually take it down. And Anthem's like, oh, they're just alien monsters, and I'm kind of down with that. I kind of reason with that, and it's not too far in the future. It's just far enough to have exoskeletons. And I'm cool with that also. And with the exoskeletons, they give you a lot. That is gorgeous looking. Those gorgeous looking movement options. I want more of that. But watching that cave fight with Josh, that makes me think like the movement options are there to move, but once you get to the nitty gritty of the game, it's like a bad Warframe. And I don't know if I want that.
No, and I would encourage everybody, and I know we're either going to post the video kind of before this pod goes up, or kind of as a just a hey, here's some extra footage from Josh. I would encourage you to go watch that because I definitely got into a lot more combat scenes because I was in the actual mission that I was supposed to be. I was encountering a kind of different faction of enemies, so I was encountering like kind of human characters and monsters and enemy javelins. So I saw a lot more. But there was also a point where we had completed a mission objective, and the game took like 45 seconds to a minute to realize that we had done so and put up the next waypoint. But the combat in that mission definitely flowed very well. Like I don't think there was any fight where I felt like kind of like that cave monster where I was there for 5 minutes just bashing at the same enemy,
so it gets better,
not making any progress. So and again, that could just be a bad example given that we only have one set of abilities there, one kind of one class there. I don't know. I need to see more. But again, there are parts that I saw that I really liked. There were parts like that scene where it's like, fudge, come on, let's go, let's do this. So yeah. Any other questions you guys had for me? Things I wanted to know about, things I might have seen. I think we pretty well covered on most of the stuff.
Yeah,
most of my thoughts.
That looked like the
Based on,
Ranger
like,
class to start. Did you try any other classes?
No, so they only give you the one javelin.
Okay.
They said, I guess if you'd played enough, got to a certain level, you would unlock a second that they had in there. I did not play enough.
Okay.
I know
That's fine.
you started at level 10, you could get to level 15. I don't know what the actual level cap is, like how close that is, where in the game that kind of is. I would imagine that's pretty early to middle. But yeah, I have never walked away from playing something and been more like, I'm not really still sure. You know, that's kind of what I took away from it is there's something there. I'm not sure what it is. There's some problems. There are some really good things about it though, and I think I'm definitely gonna have to play the beta some more when it comes out on the open beta, and we'll just kind of, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I guess like one thing I'm really curious to see just in general is like, I mean like kind of what the social aspect is, because like my favorite part about Destiny is just like it's something that we can just play and hang out and stuff. And so I hope that Anthem does a good job of fulfilling that, and I'm curious to see like what the end game looks like. Like, are there raids? Are there like are there like Ascendant, or are there like the dungeons from Diablo? Like,
yeah, do you get to the end and you're done? Like, what happens after you?
Because like I feel like I don't know if like I'm not the most like consuming every single bit of Anthem news that there is, but like I feel like we really don't know a lot about like what the end game looks like past the campaign, and with how they're pitching this game and what they want it to be and how they're talking about it, that is a hugely important part of the game, because like the campaign will last people like a weekend, and then that's like then what? Yeah. So it's like what are they doing? What is BioWare doing to make sure this game isn't just, if you are gonna get invested into the game, into the ecosystem, buying the pass, what are they doing to make sure this game isn't just dead on the vine and saying like, hey, you got it, you're done, okay, move on? Like, what is their next 6 months plan? What is their year plan? What is the next what do the next missions look like? Yeah, exactly. How do they keep players who want this to kind of be there? And I will say too, on that kind of social aspect, I know, and maybe this is just a beta thing, and maybe it's because I don't have a ton of friends on Origin as I do on Steam. I didn't really look about like how you can invite friends to your game, or what that looks like. Do they instance into that hub world with you, or I know a lot of the demo is just like, hey, you're gonna instance in, and just whoever's playing this mission, you're gonna instance in with them and start. So yeah, there's definitely some questions that I think like as the non-spoiler person, I appreciate not revealing as little as possible, but there's also kind of some of it you just have like, you need to tell me the mechanics. You don't have to tell me all the details of the game world and what the story is, but like, you gotta at least give me a little bit more about the mechanics and what your vision for the overarching motion of the game for the next year is gonna be. Well said. Well, yeah, I think that's I don't know about you guys. I think that's about as good a place as any to kind of wrap things up, and maybe we'll have some. I'll try to get my Origin thing updated so I can try to jump into that open beta here when that rolls around, and add some additional thoughts. If we get really really lucky with timing and schedules and whatnot, and we all the stars align, maybe we'll even try and do a stream / recording of the three of us doing a little jump into the beta. So we'll see. I make no promises, but we'll see what we can do. You know how you can keep up with any news that we're going to do that. You can make sure you subscribe to us here on YouTube. You can follow us on Facebook at Unscripted Gaming. Twitter's always a good place, at @unscript_gaming. You can also just get all of our podcasts in audio format at SoundCloud, Google Play Podcast, iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, anywhere. Just get us in your ears. Keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter for updates on when we might be going live with a stream or putting up another video of our hands-on with the beta. And really just thanks for listening, guys. For Unscripted Gaming, my name is Josh. I'm Mike. I'm Ray. Peace.